Hey friends, welcome back to the next video. Now we will continue our DAX journey, and one additional measure which I forgot to calculate in the last video is of course the profit margin. So because we already have total profits and total sales, we can easily calculate the profit margin simply by dividing the profit through the sales. So let's do that. Let me right click on the measures table, create new measure, and I will call this profit margin just to fix this is equal to, and I say, in this case, go to new line and say this is total profit divided by total sales. But to be best practice or to apply best practice in Power BI, we will use the divide function, right? Remember, division by zero errors can be avoided simply by using divide instead of simply dividing two measures directly. So we will use divide. The numerator is the total profit, and the denominator is, in this case, the total sales. Here we go. The alternate result, you can specify it here if you want to do that. In this case, again, I leave it blank. By the way, the alternate result could be a number, but it also could be text. If you write it in quotes and write, for instance, this doesn't work because the denominator is 0. You could also write something like that if you want. But for me now, again, I leave it blank because the division is already handled and I don't, at least Power BI doesn't throw any errors. Okay, so we are good to go. Press enter and we get our profit margin. But just to make sure, of course, we select it and here convert it into a percentage number. By default, two decimal numbers, but that's fine. So that was just from the last video. But now let's dive into a new time intelligence function, which is the so-called parallel period function. So let's explore this function and see what it does. Before you do this, I would encourage you to save your report. So again, as always, make sure that you save at least one time at the beginning so that the auto-save functionality is enabled. So simply press Ctrl S or click on the save disk here and then name your report properly. For me, I already have done this, and this is Power BI Advanced Training number 2. But of course, feel free to name it whatever you like. But if you need this as a reference, this file, this will be the name in the resource section for this file. So let me click on page number 2 and maybe call page number 1. Let's say these are basic measures. Okay. So page number 2. So let's actually explore the so-called parallel period function and how it works, and also how it differs from other time intelligence functions we have learned so far in the other model. Before we do this, let's actually create the date here. And again, you see that here I don't see the calendar icon for my date. So the order date time function functionality is not enabled for me. For you it might be, but for me not. And because I want to use it here, I simply go to File, then I go to Options and Settings, and under Options here, then I can simply choose here under the current file. I go to, in this case, data load here, and I switch the auto date time functionality on. Okay, because again, we have a small model, and for demo and practice purposes, this is totally fine. Only if you have a large model, then this would not be the way to go. You would simply disable this feature. So click OK. And as soon as I do this, you can see that now I got a calendar icon here appearing for the date. And this means that if I use the date now, if I take this option, I got my hierarchy directly created for me without any additional work from my side. I want to get rid of the day, and I also want to get rid of the quarter. And I will again use a table for that. As I said before, that you can also do this with any kind of visual, but I think it's best to learn DAX if you see it on a table structure and you see the real numbers. It's much easier to understand, at least from my point of view. If you think different, then of course, please feel free to share it with me as a feedback. Okay? So already thanks for that. So let me just go to the formatting option here and just go to the value section because I'd like to increase the text size so you can see that better on your screens. So use 14. I hope this is big enough. Again, if that's not the case, let me know for my next update of the videos. So we can see we get the year and the month. And if I use the total sales figure here and take a look at it, I can see that I got total sales for each year-month combination starting in July, because of the 4th of July is our first day of sales in here. And the last day is in May in 2022. So our dataset covers, let's say, in total 3 years, but the first year, 2020, and the last year, 2022, is only covered half. The only full year we have in the dataset is 2021. Okay, so now let's create our time intelligence DAX calculation. So let's say I right-click on the measures table here. I say I'd like to create a new measure. And this will be, let's say, these are parallel period sales is equal to, and this is now calculate function. Remember, we need to change the filter context. So as often with time intelligence functions, we need to change the current filter context. So the context, or in this case, the row in our visual, and this can be or can only be done using the calculate function. So we use calculate, then the expression will be our measure, which is the total sales. Here we go. And in this case, the filter will be the parallel period. So there it is, parallel period function. And let's see what it does. So it needs a dates column, and then the number of intervals, and then an interval. Sounds familiar, right? Remember the date add function, which we already covered. What does it do? It returns a parallel period of dates by the given set of dates. Okay, so let's use it. Let's say from the dates TBL, we use the date column, so this one. And then for the number of intervals, let's say again, -1, because we want to go back one interval. And as a start, I will use here year. You can see we have got 3 options, month, quarter, and year, and I will use the year. Let me close this here, and let's also close the calculate function. Now, let me just Control A to select everything, and just to format it properly, I will paste this inside here, click on New, paste it, format. Okay, so this is easier for you as a reference. Click on Copy here, and I will go back to my report and just paste it inside. Okay. So let me just press Enter. Formula is the same, and now we get our parallel period. And also, because we got it only as one measure here, let me select it and click the dollar symbol so we can compare it easier. So what do you expect now? What you will see here when we add it also to our table structure. So let's do that. Let me just tick this option here. And we see a value which is not formatted properly. Let's just see. This is set to auto. Okay, I would like to see this with actually 2 decimal numbers. Press Enter. That's better. Now, what do we see? We see here for parallel period 260,265. And we see this here repeating starting from January 2021 up to, in this case, December 2021, right? And then in January 2022, we see 652,000 and so on, repeating until the end of the year. So what happened? And what exactly is this number? Well, let's figure that out. 260,000 and so on in 2021. Let's take a look at our basic measures. If I click here and take a look at the table, you will see that for the whole financial year, so for the whole year 2020, the total sales were 260,000 and so on. For the whole financial year 2021, the total sales were 652,000 and so on. And just to compare this, let me actually press Ctrl C to copy the whole table, go to page number 2, and just paste the table here inside, just as a reference for us. And we see that the number here in 2020 gets repeated here for 2021. So this is where this number comes from. So that means that the parallel period function here, this, is actually just jumping back 1 year, but then it simply sums up the whole measure, in this case total sales, because that's what we use as a reference, and it sums this up, and then it adds it here for each month, right? So this is how that works. And the same is true for 2021. We can see 652,813, which is this number here, for then to 2022, because we jump back 1 year. So this is exactly how this is structured and how this works. So parallel period simply adds up the whole, in this case, interval which you give it. Which means that if, for instance, in the parallel period function here, I would use a different interval. So for instance, I could say, I only use month. So if I use month in here, like that, and I press enter, then let me just press enter here, g-evaluate that. Okay, the data changes. And now you see, I simply get the data from the prior month. So this is totally fine on a monthly level. And in this specific visualization, it would give us exactly the same result as the date add function, right? Because the date add also allows us to jump back, for instance, 1 month or 1 quarter or also 1 day. It's up to us. So it depends on, in this case, granularity we are on. And so this can give us this result. So in this case, we can really, well, we could use both if this is what we want. So parallel period, or we could also use the date add function. But the two functions still behave differently, as you've seen. Because date add minus 1 year would simply give you exactly on a monthly basis the sales of the prior year. And this is not true for the parallel period function, as you've seen. So why is this helpful? Well, this of course depends on the insight you're searching for. Because if, for instance, I use, just to show this to you, if I use quarter, yes, I like to use this here, and I evaluate that. Just a second, here we go. Now I could see here these 99,000 and so on, which is simply the sum of the first 3 quarters. And maybe one insight I have is I'm evaluating my sales on a quarterly level, and I would like to know, well, based on the prior quarter, what is actually the amount of sales we already have achieved? So how much percentage points have we done in the first quarter, let's say October is our first quarter here, regarding the whole prior quarter? So have we achieved almost the same, so 33%, or have we achieved more or less? This is something you can figure out quite easy, because you can simply divide total sales by parallel period sales in this case and figure out what is the percentage number. So this could be one insight. And of course, there are various other insights which might be helpful for you, right? So that's it for the parallel period function. So it works differently, even though depending on how you use it, you can get the same result as, for instance, the date add function. But still, it can give you different insights. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you understood how that thing works and also the examples I've shown you. If you got questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, thanks a lot for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, best guys.